So I'm going to talk about this Civilizing biometrics, and actually the title is a bit ambiguous, and it is ambiguous on purpose, but the main meaning that I intended to have it is a journal following substantive. So it is biometrics to civilize. This is the main issue, although we try to sort of civilize biometrics, but I wouldn't put it in that way from a post-colonial point of view. And this is part of a big case study or sub-case study from a sub-project of Metabody that Beatriz Pitchell and me started a year ago, and then I went on my own case study within this its agency, within this sub-project that you can find on Metabody web. So, have ants, I'm talking about the animal, have ants evolved? Certainly, in Western scientific imagination, they were psychological beings, becoming later sociological beings, and at this stage they are informational entities. Through history, ants, this claims a serious study scholar who studied this, I make reference later, modeled the human mind, society, and communication. So from the 1950s to the 2010s, the ant became related to concepts such as swarm intelligence, distributed agency, emergence, or consilience, and also to representations of them. And ants can be a human, a neuron, a code line, and their swarms, a city, a brain, or a web. Their common pattern is they are free and biologically determined, individually dumb, collectively intelligent, and governed by the rules of sociobiology. What these views share is the study, interpretation, and representation of ants and humans' behavior. All of them provide data, and they rely on it. The assumption, what is not discussed, is what are intelligence, agency, either individual or distributed, optimal behavior, decision-making, and of course, the external and objective position of the observer scientist. All of them are non-universal Western liberal concepts. They sometimes diverge in the questions they ask, the tools they created, the way in which proofs are presented and represented. In what they share and in what they diverge, critical science finds a mixture of social and political agendas and cultural specific frames. They gather, they claim, raw data, which through a scientific expert translation represents the real reality. An emerging field, as you probably all know, of research is critical neuroscience. Due to the relevance of neuroscience results presented as objective and representative of so-called biological and natural processes. Critical neuroscience studies the development, cultural meanings, and social ecology of objects of neuroscience, examining the theoretical and methodological assumptions of neuroscience research, particularly the fMRT brain scans, which does not see the brain state itself, but work with statistically massaged data based, for example, on blood flow signals, data that is manipulated in constructive analysis, which are never perfect. Moreover, scientists at best are working with the subject's report or with interpretations of overt behavior. This is extremely relevant, I think, because their biometrics are called data, naked information, given and gathered, unquestionable, and thus representative not just of what it intends to measure, but also something bigger and more complex, such as behavior, people, individuals, animals, movements, emotions, etc. As long as they mention the expression raw data, both scientists and research gain authority among other scientists, and even more in popular science and commercial applications. Because of the massive dissemination of neuroscience, its images and analogies, people perceive through these patterns, and people believe that things themselves, their emotions, experiences, are biologically given and fixed, as science proves. And then the scientific outcomes became an auto-fulfilled prophecy. Behaviors are modeled after the results, and indeed it seems to be the ultimate goal of the discipline. I'm going to put you an example of, if I can, I'm not sure. See? No. Okay, this is an example, a big data example of this. This is a USC multimodal connectivity database, which description, as you can read in the web, is to analyze connectivity matrices derived from neuroimaging data shared publicly. And this is the description. It's aimed to construct a map of the complete structural and functional neural connections in vivo within and across individuals to address deeply fundamental questions about human connectional anatomy and variation. These images could be and have been interpreted as sort of digital art, and yet these are scientific institutions well funded to represent humans through their neural connections and thus their brains through mapping, providing an image of what it is supposed to be your real view and relations. We have entered, as many of you are aware, in the neural era, when brains are conceived as superorganisms due to their observed and measured behavior. Well, there is a history of the imagination of individual intelligent brains and anthills, and collective down and or neurons, and it has three crucial moments. The first during the last quarter of the 19th century, the second at the beginning of the Cold War, and the third between 1999 and 2001. And they coincide with times when the research in defense and in social control was essential, and this is related to what Kevin was talking to us this morning. In 2001, Stephen Johnson published a mass media book entitled Emergence, The Connected Lives of Ants, Brains, Cities and Software. And he gave a TED Talk lecture. Are you familiar with them? The TED Talk lectures, this? With the new performance of authority, and I might say something about gender here, required by scientific media, personal childhood story, no paper reading, apparently random walks, PowerPoint, many jokes, etc. She makes reference to Google search, Reagan, Facebook, and even Adam Smith. His point is that ants and brains, also software, imitating life, he claims, behave in the same way. Dumb individuality and smart collectively, meaning that as a group they know how to behave to reach harmony and the optimal state. And he called this emergence after Varela, following a 19th century scientific brain studies and comparative psychology authorities. When I was hearing Johnson, I thought Adam Smith was his amanuensis writing this lecture. There was a smart market as a biological superorganism with its self-regulatory rules, stupid as we are the individuals composing it. And in fact, he wrote Emergence inspired by a very similar concept, the theory of the spontaneous order, very important in social sciences since the 1990s, developed mainly It claims to be the opposite to a rationalist's goal-directed conscious agents, and that it is more democratic and free than other economic plans, and so more natural. And this is the key issue, the naturalness. Like scanned images and their narratives, the theory fulfills its prophecy. It serves to justify an order, not to describe it, but by doing so, as we have been talking throughout the conference, they recreate trust the marketers need to operate. But this is appealing because it might allow avoiding individualism, rational decision-making, agency, or cognitive processes. Yet these conceptions and what's optimal or not for the systems are behind the data gathering. This theory is applied to understand model social behavior, conceived as a mixture of science and culture, and rules of unintentional but beneficial collective behavior. The behavior is analyzed through empirical observation of the attitudes, actions, and opinions of individuals or sort, and their interactions, revealing scientifically social patterns of millions of people or networks who which, through their behavior, create not just an order but beneficial order. The data gathering and processing are interpreted, represented, and disseminated through the media, affecting the way we behave. The historical genealogy of the theory of the spontaneous order was published in 2002, the year after the book Emergence appeared, and 3 years after the printing of an even more popular book on which Emergence was based, Consilience. Consilience was created by the father of sociobiology, a myrmecologist enormously interested in cybernetics, who is the unquestioned, though criticized, scientific authority. And I say there. Some scientists who claim to have proved Stephen Johnson and Wilson, this is their authority, theories, use a liberal language that read biologizing capitalist political systems, the so-called emergent systems, and when they present proofs, and I have been reading a lot of technical stuff that in principle was not so much of my fashion, so to say, they invoke voting processes, not just decision making, but voting processes happening in, I quote, single-cell organism through neural populations within the vertebrate brain to collection of social organisms such as colonies of ants or honeybees or societies of humans. There, rules of emergence work towards harmony from any level of complexity and conflict of interests. In these articles, they compare their models to empirical data, disregarding the assumptions of their model almost every aspect of their data gathering and their position as observers. Maybe these behaviors could be measured in different ways to reach opposite conclusions. I don't know. It would be a nice experiment, I think. And the measures, let's call them data, could be described in diverse terms because I believe behavior is in the eye of the beholder. But let's go back to Wilson's consilience, which means a holistic unity of knowledge, relying on data and prediction, reliable because it can be observed and contrasted to faith. Disciplines, according to him, should be united to solve, I quote him, some industrial societies' most vexing problems, such as criminology, but they should take more seriously, I quote again, the biological and psychological foundations of human nature with its hereditary epigenetic rules. They have to pay more attention to field data to reach objective knowledge, which is universal. Valid data, for him, comes from statued scientists, those who collect and analyze the data built The theoretical models interpret results and publish articles vetted for professional journals by other experts, often including the writers. I was quoting him again. But at one point, Wilson couldn't ignore any more critical science. And this is his reaction, I'm quoting him again. Usually, leftists in orientation, the more familiar modes of general postmodernist thought include Afrocentrism, constructivist, Lacanian psychologists, Latourian sociology of science, and neo-Marxists, to which add all the bewildering varieties of deconstruction techniques and New Age holism swirling around through them. To solve these disturbing problems, let us begin simply walking away from Foucault and existentialist despair. In a hagiographic documentary about Wilson, presented by Harrison Ford, Wilson appears as dealing with some attacks since 1975, when he published Sociobiology, where he is compared in the documentary to Darwin in his heroic path against darkness and towards scientific and human progress. They certainly had in common accusations of social Darwinism, eugenics. Wilson, in addition, was ironically accused also of almost using no data. Wilson started his academic career after the Second War in collaboration with cyberneticians, who were trying to apply war inventions to Cold War times for military and social control. Cybernetics took shape in some conferences supported by the Macy Foundation. They focused on behavioral sciences, specifically on communication and control system of beings. To apply them to electronic and mechanical systems, they found similar to them. This was the quote by Wilson. In this issue, here it is. The Rockefeller Foundation was interested for social eugenic control, and you can see the quotation. And cybernetics, according to the author that I was following close because I was studying ants, which is Shackle's slide. Cybernetics search for a general system theory to optimize intentional behavior, deploying information mainly for identification and detection. And Wilson was crucial for them because he was a myrmecologist, a science developed hand in hand with comparative psychology and sociology, and believed ants communicated despite lacking cerebral cortex and thus intelligence through chemistry, pheromones. Now it's it's just something that we all know, and very much like humans. And this they called information. Other myrmecologists supposed also ants' stupidity, and from it derived their lack of purpose or lack of aim. But Wilson's interpretation of ants' chemicals collective processes filled the gap for cybernetics. Its key was the representation of reality and intentional, intelligent, apparent behavior. Behavior was normal or abnormal, as they described them in this moment. It was equated to communication, and this it was made of information and data gathering. To the scientists, militarians had a very similar behavior to human armies, and meals were like human masses. There is an experiment of one myrmecologist called Schneiderman, who had no intention to apply this to cybernetics or defense, but it was the origin of this recurrent process in code writing, as this author wrote. This is what I know. Basically, I have read some more books, but I don't know much about the issue. But I was interested in ants. So, behavioral science aim was then to solve problems of, and I'm quoting again social inequality, industrial life, low marital harmony, juvenile crime, and mental illnesses, and all of them were together. It was mid-20th century. Wilson worked with a cybernetician, Carol Haskins, who found the perfect biological balance for human societies in liberal democratic system. He assumed the similarities between ants and men, and for this he and Wilson borrowed data and results from another mycologist called Wheeler. Wheeler coined the concept of superorganism as a mass of that individual exchanging food. Thus, for Wheeler, ants were mindless, manipulated proletariat, a model of his own society that he, a gifted male, transcended. Wheeler served on the advisory board, on the advisory council of the Eugenic Society of the United States of America, dedicated to preventing the immigration of inferior races. They all had in common the assumption of a socio-biological evolution from primitive societies to civilized ones, which were the ground of their unordered field observation and thus of their interpretation of ants and of human behavior. My question is how one comes to assume that the specialization of labor means order, progress, and well-being, and progress means evolution and civilization. And it's worrying because science, observation, and data gathering are dependent on these assumptions, and then the assumption represents reality, which models the world to look like the assumption. And these givens are quite old, as Wilson's and Wheeler's sources. They are closely connected to the four-stages theory of civilization to support capitalism's ways of colonization in the 18th century, and the 19th century standard of civilization, which is a version of the 19th century, which is, according to legal historians, even more genocidal and supporting the what we know nowadays as the international order. Regarding the 19th century, the theory was supported by the biologization of bodies, behaviors, and emotions. And ants, as swarms, were extremely important, being interpreted as nowadays to explain mass behavior by the fathers of psychology, sociology, anthropology, and neurology. In the 1880, the British noble and banker John Lubbock had incorporated sociology to the life of ants and bees, naturalizing the four stages theory of progress, civilization, development, or evolution. And in this is not here. In 1895, a retired professor of Michigan University, Evans, published Evolutional Ethics and Animal Psychology with these descriptions that I'm putting here. The rude original ants, which lived many thousand years ago, had as little idea of the advanced vision of labor prevailing in the different modern ant states as our forefathers of the Stone Age had of the culture of the 19th century. Both ants and men have worked themselves up to the present stage of development on the slow and painful path of progressive evolution. Even now, there are varieties of ants which know nothing of the exact and elaborate system of division of labor found in civilized formical communities, and which bear the same relation to the latter that the rude aborigines of Africa and Australia do to the civilized nations of the present day. When Wilson and Haskins devoted much time to find in the mid of the 20th century ants lost tribes, it was related to this. It was comparative psychology at the service of criminology what made relevant the comparison. For them, made sense even from an anatomical perspective, because there's this Dr. Vitus Graber who measured insect brains, proving that ants and bees, according to him, had two hemispheres and so big that they were comparable to humans amongst the articulates. Evans' book included not only the four stages theory and Adam Smith's division of labor, the reception by Lubbock, arguments from Darwin and his disciple George Mans or even Forel, but also criminologists such as Galton, Lombroso, and Ferry. And Darwin, of course, also believed in the four stages theory. In 1861, he wrote about the South Texas ants that were agricultural, and for that they were like diligent, provident farmers. And even supported Darwin. These ants were more civilized than children, savages, and the rude and ignorant classes of civilized society because these last had a disposition to gratify their appetites through, without the thought of the future. So, for some, I'm summarizing here, this is a myrmecologist, for some, primitive states involve communal property and then civilization, private property. For others, not, but yet, even socialist myrmecologists believed in the four stages to read ants' nature, so to say. This is one of the myrmecologists for one of the most important ones, Forel, here shows that this, so to say, comparison of primitive ant communities related to civilized ant communities. The result was that the primitive ants had a social life less complete, less differentiated, less social than that of the others, and consequently, their larvae are less absolutely dependent on the queen. Iris and I were researching about this and discovered it was a queen, or what they thought it was a queen. Of course, there were, for Evans, other liberal myrmecologists, there was, and I quote him, anarchist, drunken, vagabond, and robber bees, the worst thing. In 1862, Marx wrote to Engels this: "It is remarkable how Darwin rediscovers among the beasts and plants the society of England with its division of labor, competition, opening up new markets, inventions, and Malthusian struggle for existence. In Darwin, the animal kingdom figures a civil society. Despite this, Marx and Engels also shared that animals were more, the first stage theory starts that the first stage is nomadic and hunting and gathering, and then comes the shepherd stage, the agricultural stage, and then the commercial, which is the best in evolution. For Marx and Engels, animals are most gatherers, while humans are producers. So part of the issue remains there. And in 1875, Engels wrote that Darwin's rhetoric of the struggle for existence is simply the transference from society to animate nature, and then the solidity as eternal laws of human society declared to have been proved, an issue of, I keep quoting him, bad economists, bad natural scientists and philosophers. Anyhow, beyond this naked scientific politics, there is a more powerful and transparent politics in these sciences. It is not that these myrmecologists, ecologists, and criminologists were eugenicists in every sense of the word. They had their politics and cultural background to ask questions, plan research, build tools, gather data, and prove their hypotheses. The usual narrative to exculpate these creepy beginnings of cybernetics and neuroscience is that they were men of their times and now sciences have developed so much and advanced thanks to new techniques, discoveries, and democracy. Today we're not supposed to be eugenicists, or at least being social Darwinists, if there is a difference, but human enhancement in one way or another is massively disseminated. To improve our condition, first we would need to know what is the best human standard, going from the external shape, behavior to a bunch of data representing its health. Techniques, machines, experiments are culturally built, deployed, and described. If uncritical, results or data are self-fulfilling prophecies, as Engels argued, and as I am going to be anyhow doing critical science to be labeled as a socialist, it is okay. But they are dangerous not just because it is bad science pretending to represent reality, but because they succeed representing it through antonomasia, so to say, creating a new reality in which we believe, so they represent us. And I leave open the issue for later discussion. Thank you.